question on the first page could have been done with point slope form. Most of you should indeed have used point slope form for nearly all of it. However, some of you are uncomfortable with point slope form and choose to use slope-intercept form. That's fine. I will write answers in both. Why? Because I care. So, this one should be, the easiest one is y minus 1 equals 3, x minus 2. But some of you may very well have y equals 3x minus 5. Some of you may very well have that. This one, easiest answer is, of course, y minus 4 equals negative 2/5 x plus 1. But of course, some of you will have y equals negative 2/5 x minus 2/5 plus 20/5 is plus 18/5. I'm doing these second ones in my head, so if you have something that's close and not quite what I write, please tell me, because as you can see, I'm doing this all without writing it out. Slope of 2 and an x-intercept of 3. So hopefully not one of you did this, 2x plus 3, because that would be wrong. What it really is, of course, is y equals 2x minus 3, or y equals 2x minus 6. All of these are worth 2 marks, by the way.
Oh, all of them?
Yes. Well, there's, yeah. Yeah.
Why though? Why are there two people in one step?
Well, because for some people, if they're doing slope-intercept form, they have to do more. This one, you could have written it a lot of ways. I would go with y equals negative 4/3 x plus 4. That's the one I would have used. Did anyone need to see another version of that, or is everybody happy with that? Okay. Everyone's happy? This one, that is an x-intercept again. It's exactly the same as up there. So it was y equals 3/4 x minus 4, or y equals 3/4 x minus 3 with no brackets. This one, that is a y-intercept, so that is y equals negative 2x plus 5. That is an extraordinarily tricky one, but it's actually the same as C, E, and G, since you have an x-intercept. So it's y equals 5/6 x plus 2/3, or y equals 5/6 x plus 10/18, which would be 5/9. And this is, of course, exactly the same as D. It is y equals 2/5 x plus 2. And that makes that whole page out of something along the lines of 16. Any questions? Excellent. Meh. Now, this question, you have actually seen this question exactly word for word in your notes. Exactly. So if you look back in your notes, you would have found the answer to this. What do you know about these two lines? Well, one of the lines is, line 1 is y equals y equals 2x plus 8. You know the other line intersects it on the y-axis. So line 2 is perpendicular, so it must be negative 1/2 x. And since it intersects at the same spot, it must be plus 8 for 2 marks. This one is slightly more difficult. Line 1 is y equals negative 2x minus 6. Oh, but the perpendicular line has a point. So line 2, when my computer will allow me to write it, is y plus 4 equals perpendicular slope 1/2 x plus 1. And of course, all the versions of that equation are allowed. That is also out of 2. Does anybody need to see another version of that? Or see what I would do with that? Okay. Draw these 3 lines. There will be 3 lines on here. One will be a black line. It will go through negative 3, positive 2. With a slope of 2/5, which will be up 2 and right 5. That will be line A for 1 mark. Line B is parallel, but it must go through negative 2, negative 1, up 2, over 5. There. And then line C is perpendicular through negative 2, negative 1, which is right here. And it must go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 2 to create that line. I'll get it. Go. Oh, I was too late. Fortunately, I saw the call display, and I'm able to respond. Hello, Ms. Bernini. There is. Believe it or not, yes. Yes. Oh, right now is more than convenient. Awesome. Bye. Mr. Yakmishin. Well, it's not a complicated call to make. The entire class called it. We will see you when we see you. Miss Berdini would like to see you first, though. Where was I? Oh, yes. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over 2. Oh, I did it already. There. That's worth 3 marks, making that page out of 7. Now we have some multiple choice action. Which graph represents that function? Well, what form is that in? Slope-intercept, which means it has to go through positive 6, yes? And it has to have a negative slope, yes? So you don't even need to count. It's D, because D is the only one with a negative slope through positive 6. Rewrite this in general form. General form is AX plus BY plus C equals 0. That general form, he's really mean. He's always given a hard time to major problem. That was good. So you have to have A has to be positive and no fraction. So what's the only thing there you should move? Right, it was Y. Then what do you do to get rid of that 4? You, of course, multiply everything by 4 and get X minus 4Y plus 8 equals 0. D D. As in, damn, Ash is good at this.
I'm just thinking of the 52 way test though.
The answer to number 5 was D. As in, damn, Ash is good at this. And finally, slope-intercept form for the line that goes through there and is parallel to there. So to do slope-intercept, I need a slope, don't I? So I better find that slope first. 0 plus 2 over 1 minus 9 is 2 over negative 8, which is negative 1/4. There's my slope. Y equals slope, negative 1/4, x plus b. Now, you have a choice here. What's that? An x. What's that? Could you put them in here and find b? Yes. You also could have done y minus 10 equals negative 1/4 x minus 8. And then convert that to slope-intercept form. You would get the same answer either way. And that answer is 1/4 positive 2 plus 10, 12, C. As in cool. I know how to do math. And page 227. I need the line that goes through that point but is perpendicular to this. What do I know about perpendicular? They flip the slope and they change the sign. So if I know this slope, do I know the perpendicular slope? How do I find a slope on a graph? By counting. Rise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Run. Negative. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this slope is 5 over negative 4. But I do not want that slope, do I? What slope do I want? 4 over 5. I flip it and change the sign. Then, is that x1, y1, x2, y2? Yep. K minus 14 over 12. A lie. 27 minus 12, which is 4 over 5 equals k minus 14 over 15. 60 equals 5k minus 70. 130 equals 5k. K equals 26. For 2 marks. And lastly, what is the slope of that? Well, it's in general form. What's the easiest form to find slope from? Slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So I better get y isolated. 7y equals negative 4x plus 10. Y equals negative 4 over 7x. Do I need to keep going? No, because I only cared about slope. What is it? B. As in, boy, do I ever love math class. I wish I could take it for the rest of my life. She's busy on her phone. Leave her alone. All right. Does everybody understand those 4 sentences? Does everybody understand? You haven't seen it done. I just need you to be aware of what all of those words mean. Everybody good? All right. Let's begin. Read quicker. Once upon a time where there were these 2 kids that sat in the back of math class. One of them paid attention a little bit. The other one never paid attention at all. One of them got through math class the first try. The other one had to spend another whole 4 months in it. the end.
I'm really hoping I'm the one who passes.
Is this yours?
No. I'm pretty sure it is.
All right. The first step says choose one equation and solve for one variable. What does the word solve mean? Since nobody said they needed to explain any of this, every single one of you should be able to tell me what I mean by solve for a variable. Go.
It means find out what the variable is.
Okay. How do you do that when you have two variables? X plus y equals 7. Exactly. So, what? Huh?
3 plus 4 equals 7.
Yes, 3 plus 4 equals 7, but that did not solve for one of the variables. Because it could be 6 and 1. It could be 5 and 2. It could be 13 and negative 6. It could be 6.827 and 0.173. Well, considering nobody else in the class could have done that without a calculator, I'm not too worried that it took me 30 seconds to figure it out. All right. Now, I'll ask again. What does it mean to solve for a variable? Ash has gotten half the answer right by saying you have to say what the variable is. But can you do that here? No. So solving for a variable must mean isolating. Then you should have said it out loud because oh, that's the worst. There is nothing worse than speaking with your mouth full. That is the height of rudeness.
That wouldn't be rude.
Of course it would have been, as is interrupting someone speaking to you, as is not doing what you're supposed to be doing, as is showing up late to somewhere, as is, right? Should I go on? No, of course I shouldn't. So, isolate a single variable. Now, I am writing this in black because the first step I numbered in black. Looking at the two equations you have right there, what is the easiest variable to isolate? I even gave you a hint. I know, right? What should be the variable which we are to isolate? X. In which equation? The first equation. So we are going to isolate X. How do I do that? I move what?
Everything else is going to X positive.
Absolutely right. So I am going to end up with X equals what? 4y minus 1. Correct? Now, the reason that you guys couldn't tell me the answer to this yellow highlighted thing is because there's two unknowns, correct? Because you don't know two things. You can only do algebra when you only have one unknown. So we have already done some work with this first equation. Let us look at the second equation. What does the second step say to do? Take the new equation. Where is our new equation? No, the new equation that we just made. Yes. There is our new equation. And it says take that new equation and substitute it into the other equation. What do you mean substitute? X equals what? What letter is that? No, what letter? X. What does X equal? What does X equal? So what do I write there instead of X? 4y minus 1 plus 5y equals 31. And what do you notice all of a sudden has happened with this yucky equation that we couldn't solve because it had two unknowns? Now, how many unknowns are there? One. Why? It's the same. Now, what does step 3 say to do? Solve for the remaining variable. We've already established that solve means isolate. So now I must take this and isolate y. If only we had done Unit 4. Wait, we have done Unit 4. We know how to take care of that. 12y minus what? 3 plus 5y equals 31. Now what? How? 17y minus 3 equals 31. Now what? Get rid of the negative 3. 17y equals 34. Now what? Divide by 17 and y equals what? 2. Now, what's the last step say? Plug your solution into one of the original equations. Well, since we know that y is 2, but x is 4y minus 1, where can that 2 go? Anywhere we see a y, x equals 4 times 2 minus 1. What's 4 times 2? 8 minus 1. What's 8 minus 1? 7. What is the ordered pair? That is the solution. 7, 2. Now, you will notice I put no number 5. Because none of you are ever going to bother checking. You're going to hand me in your work with a bunch of it wrong, never having checked. So I wanted to save myself having to push 5. Awesome. But on a test, you can't do that. So, the last thing is to check. X is 7, so what could I write there? 7. Y is 2, so what could I write there? What's negative 4 times 2? Negative 8. Is 7 minus 8 negative 1? So we're right. What's 3 times 7? 21. What's 5 times 2? 10. What's 21 plus 10? Are we right? Yes. That's the solution. Substitution is the method we are using to find the solution instead of graphing, because graphing doesn't always work. That's what we proved right there. Algebra gives you the exact answer every time without graphing. That's why the mermaid was embarrassed in math class. Her algebra was showing. I've told that joke like 17 times. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. All right. What equation should I work with here? 1 or 2?
2 equals 1.
No, what? One because there's a variable.
Okay, so we're going to work with equation 1. Are we going to work with x or y? Y. Because y is a coefficient of 1. So when I isolate y is going to equal 3 minus 2x, correct? Is everybody happy with that step? Can everybody do that step? Lovely. Next step. Take our new equation, which is what?
Y equals 3 minus 2.
Excellent. And substitute it into the other equation. Where? Behind the 3, because it is y equals that, and there is a y. 4x plus 3, 3 minus 2x equals 1. Now what? Now what? I try to find x by doing algebra. 4x plus what?
9. Six.
Minus 6x equals what?
Equals 1.
Now what?
Wait, there's no 3y.
Simplify.
Stop. 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 Ash,
Oh, it's
what does that say? In English. Read that to me in English.
y equals 3 minus 2x.
What letter is that?
Y.
What does y equal?
3 minus 2x.
Do you see how it works?
Yeah.
Excellent. Now what?
Negative 2x plus 9.
9 minus 2x equals 1. Now what?
Isolate it.
Now what?
Isolate the x.
Isolate the x. Negative 2x equals what?
Oh wait, negative 8.
Negative 8. Now what?
Divided by negative 2.
So x equals 4. Now what?
Substitute.
Anywhere I see an x. Y equals 3 minus 2 times what?
4.
4. What is 2 times 4?
8.
What is 3 minus 8?
Negative 5.
What is the ordered pair?
4, negative 5.
4, negative 5. What is the last thing I should do that all of you will refuse to do so you can get back to your phones?
Check.
What is 2 times 4?
8.
What is 8 minus 5?
3.
Are we correct?
Yes.
Yes. What is 4 times 4?
16.
What is 3 times negative 5?
Negative 15.
Is 16 minus 15 1?
Yes.
So are we correct?
Yes.
Is there any reason to get any question wrong in this unit?
No.
No, because whatever answer you get, you can check. If it doesn't work in both equations, do you have the right answer?
No.
No. Would you hand it in to me?
No.
Yes, you all will.
Yeah.
But should you hand it in to me?
No.
No. Turn the page over and tell me what bothers you about that one. There's no 1.
You can divide though.
You could divide. You could still isolate pretty easily, couldn't you? Right? Everyone agree? But let me offer you this. What do you notice there?
They're both full.
They're both 4x, aren't they? So does that not mean that 4x equals 2 minus 5y? Doesn't it? Is everyone okay with that? 4x is 2 minus 5y. What do you see right there? What is 4x? 2 minus 5y. Does everybody see what I did there? When they're the same, this is a handy-dandy little shortcut. So 2 minus 5y minus 20y equals negative 3. Now I solve. 2 minus 25y equals negative 3. Negative 25y equals negative 5. Y equals 1/5. What can I do with that? Plug it in right there, just like the Glade commercial. Plug it in, plug it in. 4x equals, I should be working in green because this is the green step. Language.
Look.
Oh, okay.
I would beat her if
Would you?
she Probably.
That seems a little excessive. 2 minus 5 times what? 1/5. What is 5 times 1/5? 4x equals 2 minus 1. 4x equals 1. What does x equal? 1/4. What is the ordered pair? 1/4. 1/5. Do we check? Of course we do. What is 4 times 1/4? 1. What is 5 times 1/5? 1. Is 1 plus 1 2?
Yes.
So we are correct. Everybody nailed that one. 1 plus 1 is 2. Good job.
Go.
I didn't even see anybody reach for their calculator. Well done. What is 4 times 1/4? 1. What is 20 times 1/5? Now out comes the calculator. 4. 1 minus 4. Is it -3? Yes. And we are done. Now, why is substitution better than graphing? Because if we were going to graph this, the lines would cross 1, 1. The lines would cross at the lines would cross at 1/4 and 1/5. And that would be a real hard number to get exactly from a graph, wouldn't it? Everybody good? All right. Now, your homework tonight is the next 2 pages, 234 and 235. 234 has the answers. 235 has a dad joke.